They're going for the lower bracket match with Anarchid. Google Frog and Sprung are playing right now, and we're going to see Drone versus Klon. And that will start out on a map that is relatively sensible. Intersection. Okay, small map, but still relatively sensible. So we did see Inculta wet, just not from Google Frog. We saw it from Drone, which I actually didn't expect. Granted, Drone's rationale was basically like, screw it, I don't want to be playing a real game. Let's just set up water, not worry about it. But you know, I expected Eye of Horus, but there's still time. Eye of Horus may come. Alright, so intersection. Oh man, this is probably Klon's game to lose. Not to be rude or anything, but just given the map that is a very defensive map, and Klon is a very defensive player, and it's really hard to attack that last section. And Drone has apparently been fairly aggressive recently, but yeah, they're generally fairly aggressive. I think it's going to come down to whether or not Drone is able to cut through the right sections to just destroy Klon without losing a lot of units in the process. And that's basically what it comes down to. If Drone keep the attrition low, then they're going to have no problem. If Klon is able to maintain attrition, then Klon is going to win. But then again, Klon was really aggressive in one of the previous games. Like the second game against Google Frog, Klon was really aggressive in that Avalanche game. So, maybe. Well, okay, at first they were. They got pushed back, but they started out pretty aggressive. Actually, they're also quite aggressive in the Titan Duel game. So, we'll see. But it's more that if it gets pushed back to the main base, to that main base platform with the 4 metal extractors, that's... that is going to be an issue for Drone, I think. Like, it's that last hurdle to win the game. I gotta be honest, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. I really want to see how this is going to go, because I'm having a hard time predicting it. Yeah, winners finals. Hey, Scuzzy's got the enthusiasm. All right, Scuzzy. Yeah, winners finals. Yeah, this should be done pretty. I don't know if we can get fairly quickly. These are both high-level players, and one of them is very defensive. And we are about to begin. So, drone and clone on intersection. Yeah, this is what I mean, that the opening area here, the main base, it's fairly easy to defend. Don't let the wide ramps fool you. It's really easy to defend. So, if drone gets an early advantage, I imagine drone will be able to defend it, but if drone gets an early advantage, getting through this area is going to be the biggest challenge. They're going to need a massive army to be able to pull it off. So, Klon is going for the Cloaky factory, which is a little unusual at this point, but not completely unviable. Drone, yet to load up. Still waiting on drone. Okay, drone's in. And what are they going to be building up to? Really want to know. Okay, they'll get... I guess they'll get here soon enough. What are they waiting for? This... Okay, there we go. Light vehicle factory. The light vehicle factory versus Cloaky factory. The drone definitely going to be trying to be aggressive here. So I'm sure drone's going to go for standard dart scorcher setup. What is Klon going for? Rocco's, glaives? I'm guessing glaives early on, but then after that, he's going to switch to Rocco's, go to size, go to like Reserve Zeus Warrior combo for some reason. Against light vehicles, I can see Rocco's being used. I'm fairly certain they're the way to go for a lot of people. But early 5 glaives. And very early economy. Klon going very quickly for the economy. Drone, on the other hand, going for the quick dart into economy, so much more aggressive, as I expected. Dart Mason Scorcher is not an uncommon startup. And drone with Klon starting out with a conjure and then the glaives is a little unusual. A lot of times people will start with 2 glaives and then a conjure and then 3 more glaives. But that's 5 glaives after a conjurer. So Klon fairly confident they can hold off their main base without having to worry about building too many defenses. And that Lotus looks like it'll be done just in time for the dart, but it doesn't really matter. That defender will take care of it. So much more of a clutch thing if a secondary defense had not already been built. And it just gets rid of the dart anyway. Drone very quickly getting the southwest. Getting radar there too, very clever. The drone already going for the expansion. I like to see that. I do indeed like to see that kind of play. But Klon also coming in with a harassment. So it looks like Klon's going for a bit more of the harassment-oriented play, while Drone's going for more of the economically oriented play. Bit of damage in metal, but that can be reclaimed through. No big deal. Now, Klon, with this kind of play, they aren't moving to expand anytime soon from the looks of it. And that's going to be a problem. I don't think they're aware of this southeast expansion, the southwest expansion. The clever part is that Drone put themselves in a position where they basically can't easily be scouted. If Klon wants to scout this area out and figure out, oh, has Drone set up yet? They're going to see these empty metal extractors, and they might not think to go over it here. They might not think to go over to the northwest, or sorry, the southwest, the actual southwest corner, and find whether or not there actually is a metal extractor. And that's really clever of Drone, because Klon is, well, not even looking, actually. But if they did, it'd be a big deal, but they're not. Now, at this point, Klon... Okay, I guess that is one thing that makes sense. So Klon going for the lower mexes makes sense because, like I said, they're a defensive player, and they appear to be just trying to get a much more compact base going at first, and then to build up from there. While Drone, on the other hand, being a bit risky by expanding out, but trying to obfuscate it by doing it in the less obvious spot, and setting up radar defenses beforehand so they know what's going on. Klon, on the other hand, they want everything in one spot, so it's just more concentrated, easier to defend. That makes sense. Okay, that explains why Drone hasn't been expanding much. Now, Drone, that being said, is actually expanding over to the northeast the same way that Klon's expanded to the northeast, same way Drone's expanded to the southwest. Which, like I said, makes sense for the same reasons. Hide the expansion. Both players being equally clever in that regard. And the downside of that is that it takes longer to set up, but the upside is that your opponent's probably not looking there. If they're going to look for an expansion, they're going to start probably with this. But although Drone actually is going to get spotted out there, Klon is going to find the upper expansion before, I think, finding the lower one. Let's just see. I think... Okay, the builder has been spotted, so the idea of the expansion is very clear. But the mex is not seen. Oh, there we go. Okay, just barely seen. So Klon well aware there's an expansion there. But yeah, they're going to see this north area first. The upper area first. Getting confused in cardinal directions. They're going to see the zenith of Drone's base before they see this. Well, they'll see this, but they see it quickly. They were going there first. So now they know everything they need to know about Drone's economy. Which is actually ahead of theirs at the moment. If a little bit riskier. Oh, nice glaive setup. I mean, the Scorchers are going to be the problem. The Slashers not so much. The Scorchers... They're there for support, that's what they do. And Klon's commander forced to retreat. But at the same time, Klon knows exactly what Drone's up to. And Klon does have more reclaim to work with. And Klon's up to the exact same thing, and actually, I think Drone's not aware of what Klon's up to. Even though Klon's entirely aware of what Drone's up to. Oh, that was actually okay. That was the real cleverness. The defender placement here means that the Conjurer showed itself trying to set up aggressive defenses without having spotted or even suspected the defender beforehand. That is actually pretty tricky. I was thinking, okay, you know, put it on the hill, make it harder to assault. But no, that also has the effect that makes this area well defended. If anything happens to sneak in. And that's clever. Klon's commander at this point, though, was at level 1. Level 1 beam laser support comm. Pretty solid. And not much in the way of support. Some levelers coming in here to provide slasher support, but yeah, that's not helping too much. The slashes are basically down. Klon's commander under great threat, though. The levelers are too much of a threat. Klon should probably avoid them if possible. Yeah, definitely avoid them if possible. That beam laser is not providing enough firepower. Against one leveler, it's... Look at that, it halved the commander's health. That'd have been deadly if both of those levelers were together at once. That would have been disastrous. And we see Klon has already gone for the Rockos, so they're quite ready for dealing with the vehicles. But their commander needs to move back. Why is it not being repaired? I mean, their game plan right now depends on their commander being available here. It really does. Yeah, you're not going to lose for losing the commander directly, but they're kind of depending on having a front defense. And that's what they're depending on. They need to have that commander there so they can build up without worrying about every little thing hitting them. Now, right now it's not as important since they are taking the center, which that's going to provide a huge amount of breathing room. Drone, wow, losing the center very rapidly. And it's just melting. The defenses, what defenses they have are melting. Those after losing the slashers, they pretty much had nothing to follow back on. They had nothing to fall back on at all. And now Dart's coming in to try to harass out the Rockos, but enough glaives here will put an end to that. Unfortunately, there aren't enough glaives, so this will be fairly effective. The Rockos will be forced to retreat. But there are still some glaives. And the Rockos are still hitting. Wasn't enough time for Drone to really rebuild much. The defenders are still a bit of a threat, but at this point, the map is basically split half and half. Klon with a much stronger economy, without having to rely on reclaim either. Much stronger economy, basically has everything along here, while Drone, they are missing a couple metal extractors here. They've lost the center. The Klon right now is pretty far ahead. I never mind, that was with reclaim, but Klon has all this reclaim to work with. Klon has loads of reclaim to work with, so they might as well just have fun with it, because they have tons of reclaim, they have tons of firepower. Drone's commander is not really threatened too much, but it can't be too hasty either. It needs to stay back. And at this point, Klon looks like they're going to be going to try to take out that southwest, and there's basically nothing to defend from this angle. There's a Stardust over here on the northwest side, which is exactly what they want, because that prevented direct assault, and also stops reinforcements. But that's it. That and the defender is it. And it's a free metal extractor, well, almost free metal extractor for Klon. And that didn't even pay for itself. That had just been completed. So that was a net loss for Drone. And that Conjure's still there, still seeing what's going on. Doesn't have any opportunity to build a Lotus, but still knows what's up. And now Klon's analogous expansion is going to defend itself very well against the incoming Mason. And these Scorchers are starting to provide a bit of a problem. The Warriors more so. Sorry, the Wolverines more so. The Wolverines are the real issue here. Because Glaives go down to 1 mine, roughly. Or not quite 1 mine, but they got down pretty quickly to the mines. The Rockos are similarly weak, so it's not, or similarly frail rather. So it's not so easy for them to rush in, and this is the one problem with using Rockos. They work great for Levelers and Ravagers. They work terribly against Scorchers. Actually, I don't know if they work great for Ravagers. They work great against Levelers, though. But against Scorchers, they just melt. However, this is Klon's defensive play. And Klon's just got defenses layered on defenses layered on defenses, and it's getting a gunship plan for good measure. Drone does not read this. There's no anti-air coming in. They're continuing to push hard to the Wolverines. Very hard for the Wolverines. Scorcher's managing to get through some of those defenses, but like I said, it's layered. And here I thought that Drone would have a problem if they got to the point where they had the advantage but had to get rid of the main base. Looks like they're having an issue. There's some issues getting through the defenses as it is. They just enter the map. Klon has built so many defenses, it's almost like attacking the main base if Drone had the advantage. But at this point, Drone's actually at a slight disadvantage economically and has to run through layers upon layers of staggered defense on top of the units. This is not an easy situation to be in at all. Drone's current situation is quite tough. And it looks like Drone, yeah, they can see a fair amount here, but they... Yeah, they are... Those Wolverines, they're using those Wolverines well enough to still get through the defenses. That's what they need. Like, it's patience in Wolverines, and that's why they're relying on Wolverines, which is where the Rapiers come in. How many are there, anyway? They've pretty much been revealed by now. Or not by now, very shortly. And they can't really attack the center either. Now, Drone will be building up some Razors probably right away. And that Stardust, ooh, nice, gets a, well, not a free Rapier, but it gets a Rapier anyway. But more importantly, the Rapiers have been spotted before they're a major threat. I mean, they're attacking the southwest, that's a problem. They can't easily attack the center, though, and they don't have the element of surprise on the Wolverines anymore. And Klon is... they're losing that layered defense. Slowly but surely, they've been able to build behind it, but they are still losing that layer. And they're losing the front layer. And their up defenders, the Glaives, cannot rush in with impunity. Same with the center, same with the Rapiers. I mean, oh, this is perfect timing. Klon needs to attack now. I thought they were. What I thought they were trying to do is make that Conjurer bait the defenders, and then use that as an opening to allow the Rapiers to get in, and then crack open the southwest, allowing Klon to take over the southwest. But they didn't go for it. That looked like such an obvious bait. Attack during the defender reload time. Because the defender reload time is like 10 seconds. It's a massive window. Wide open window, but no, the rapiers retreated, so bit miscoordination there. And at this point, Drone with the anti-air, although I think they might have overinvested. Klon only bought those, or built those 6 rapiers or so. But I would call that an overinvestment. But at this point, the Rocco's now finishing it off. I mean, with the Stardust gone, they didn't really, and the rapiers didn't have to rush in to kill the defenders. It just would have been a bit faster. But with the Stardust gone, there's really nothing stopping these Rockers from getting in here. Scorches are going to be a problem, though going uphill they are slow. But otherwise, no, not much, really. Wasn't much threat. The Crashers are there. I guess they're deterring any further air units. They're not totally worthless, but their usefulness is not as much as it was before. And with the radar gone, that will help at least for Klon to be able to act in this area without worrying too much. And the rapiers to help out support against the Scorchers. So Klon basically has the southwest on lock. The northeast has been theirs for the whole game. And the center area is... that's more drones. Klon's going to have to deal with that. They're in something of a flanking position at the moment, but they are going to have to deal with that. Which will be a problem. And Drone as well going for the rapiers. Klon having stopped going for air, but Drone switching to it. Klon does not have any tridents or any anti-air, really. So now the tables may have turned somewhat. Although on the other hand, 3 rapiers being spotted. Yeah, so the rapiers are known about. What's Klon's response? Are they going to go for ground-based anti-air, air-based anti-air, or are they just going to rely on being able to hit ground from air with Rockos and lasers and so forth? And it looks like it is going to be just relying on the existing rapiers and ground-to-air attacks. And admittedly, that's actually paying off fairly well, so I'll grant that's actually probably fine. And Klon winning this fight. 2 supported rapiers against 5 unsupported rapiers. This is working out well for Klon. They just need to repair the rapiers, but at this point they are getting tridents just in case more air comes in, and that's a good thing to be wary of, because more air is coming in. More air is coming in pretty hard, actually. Wow, Drone's fully investing into this. They've actually got 20 metal per second going into the air. 6 rapiers, actually, well, 4 of those are drones, 2 of them are clones. Yeah, four rapiers, continuing to build them. Tridents are in play. Not even on the way. They're in play. Drone's commander heavily threatened. They kind of overextended the center, and this is where Klon's coming in with the flanking I was meant. Well, not quite the flanking, but it's kind of a flanking setup that they have going. And if they retake the center, then they have a clear line across the map. And a pretty well defended one, too. But the center in this map is really swingy. Just how open it is. Like, with how open the center is and how much the edges matter compared to the center, and therefore how oftentimes the center's not super well defended, it's pretty swingy. And the center is likely to just go back and forth for a little while. Not going to really settle until the end. Like, if someone decisively takes the center, especially if Klon decisively takes the center, having the edges... Like, if Drone takes the center and Klon has the corners, it's kind of even. If Klon takes the center, having the corners, Klon wins. Ooh, Crasher overextension there. Super tempting to get rid of those tridents, but that was an overextension. There's only 3 Crashers left. And there's still enough tridents to take out these rapiers with impunity. Because those Crashers, they move in, they get hit by the Zeus, and they die. If they don't move in, the rapiers can't move out. Right, Klon has pretty much taken most of this map, and is creeping with defenses too. Looks like down the northeast ramp, not so much down the southwest ramp. But they're creeping in, and they're making sure that this center area, the center approach into the base, is also covered. I don't think vehicles can actually go up it. No, they cannot. Vehicles cannot go up this area. Bots can. It's slow, but they can. Vehicles cannot, and that is a problem. Not the biggest problem in the world, but it is a problem. Ooh, that Razor almost got... Well, not almost got stunned open. If it was kept open for a little while to get stunned open, that would have been awesome for Klon. Drone with 10 rapiers coming in here, and the Tridents are out of position, and Klon is aware of this. They are actually dealing with it right now. They're getting those into position, and the Crashers are out of position as well. Or actually, my mistake. That's actually both of theirs? How many does Klon have? Oops. Klon has... Okay, what the heck's going on here? Whatever. I want to see Klon's point of view. They see everything, because apparently I can select... Oh, right, I guess I can select any from here. Whatever. So I'm trying to make sure I can only select what I need to select, but I messed with my settings a bit, and that doesn't work anymore. I'll have to change that back. But it looks like it's drone with 8 rapiers, and actually at this point, not much else. No one's been able to clean up the center, except for the defenses. They've been able to deal a lot of damage to the center, really nullifying its impact. I mean, the economic boost they have... Okay, there we go. Trying to finish that off. Getting a Strider Hub. They're probably going to go for Dante. Just barrel through the defenders in the center, shrug everything off, and tear it to shreds. I guess. I mean, are they going to do that? I don't see them starting it. There we go. There's the Dante. And that should finish things off once it gets built up. It's going to be, what, 3 minutes? Yeah, 3.5 minutes. So in 3.5 minutes, if Klon doesn't do something big... Sorry, if Drone doesn't do something big, although they are reclaiming a lot, so that's pretty big, then Klon's going to probably win. The Rapiers still pose a problem, though. But with the Tridents in tow, that's not going to be that big of a problem. Like, Drone going for the last ditch attempt. One thing to point out, of course, is that Klon is running with lowered resources because they are investing a lot into that Dante. And the Crashers are right here, and the Glaives also here to deal with the Crashers because they're not going to let this happen for free. So once the Crashers are down, the Tridents can get in and tear apart the Rapiers. But the Rapiers can, of course, tear apart the Glaives. And that's the problem here. They one-shot Glaives. So the Northeast is kind of lost at this point. But 3 minutes left till the Dante's done. And the center assault... Ooh, this is risky. If Klon can make this work, or at least hold off some of the workers for long enough, that's fine. But if they lose this, they're going to be hit hard before that Dante is built up. Unfortunately, Trident's going down. The Rapier is able to take out some of the Crashers, but not well enough. And it looks like the Zeus may be falling. How long to the Dante? The Dante's got 2 minutes left. And those Zeuses are still... I mean, they're hitting some defenders. They're hitting that Razor, which they're not going to kill anytime soon. But the Rapier's causing no end of troubles. Drone continuing to build those up like mad. Just getting them going where they need to. Klon getting emergency glaives. A minute left on that Dante. But I'm getting less and less certain that that's actually what needs to be done. The Trident's here to try to help out, but those Crashers, they're dying, but they're getting replaced quickly enough it doesn't matter. The Tridents cannot do their thing. The northeast corner has been lost, and Drone is very rapidly taking that. Southwest corner getting assaulted as well. And it looks like Drone's basically turned the center position from being flanked to a spearhead. But this is a risky spot, though. A lot of these Rapiers are going to die in the process. Klon set up a lot of anti-air defenses, and Drone doesn't want to deal with that. That's not what Drone wants it to work on. They're going to leave Klon to that, which I think is going to give Klon enough economy, really. I mean, they have a fairly strong economy as it is. But being able to keep that southwest is great. Because Drone hasn't actually rebuilt the northeast yet. They're setting up defenses first. Granted, they have a fairly strong economy thanks to Reclaim. But it's not... Well, Reclaim and Overdrive. That's actually powering a lot of their economy their economic parity and slight advantage against Klon is powered by that. The Dante is up. Nice, gets rid of all the Scorchers. But the Rapiers are the problem. And that's the real problem here. The Rapiers, there's over a dozen Rapiers and not much in dedicated anti-air. Klon's commander about to go down. The center is wide open. It's the exact position that Klon does not want to be in. Klon is... Okay, commander's down. Klon's much stronger in a position where they have choke points and defenses to work with. They, right now, have neither. The Dante, that'll help. They're close enough to the ground, it'll help. But still... Unless these Crashers are killed. These Crashers go down, and there's only these 4. These Crashers go down, then further Tridents will be great. But otherwise, no. That's kind of the problem, is that the Crashers are just... They're so useful at getting rid of the Tridents. That's the issue. They can't... The Tridents can't get rid of the Rapiers. The only thing that gets rid of the Rapiers is Razors. And the Dante Klon realizing this, pushing the Dante out, but this is the problem, is the slow. These Rapiers are a threat to the Dante. And the Dante's, well, it's not a bad job getting rid of some of them, but still. The Dante's got to be careful. These Crashers are so out of position, too. Oh, if Tridents are built up, the Crashers just trying to get back into position, that will be suicide for the Crashers. They'll either have to go through Glaives and the Dante, or they'll have to go through a gauntlet of defenders and Lotuses. So those Crashers are basically out of the game. There aren't any further ones either from the looks of it, so this is great for Klon right now. Klon can actually go for Tridents, and they have Tridents. If they move forward with Tridents, they will be rewarded. It's going to work out beautifully. And this is where the Dante is going to be super handy, getting rid of these defenders, or what's left of them. The Zeuses did a pretty good job. And getting rid of the Razor too, because, well, the Dante has enough firepower. It doesn't care about armor. It does not sweat armor. And the way running where drones constructor balls are, and there's smaller balls here and there, but a lot of them were killed. A lot of them were in the center and died. But for the most part, they're in the northeast. What's left of them are in the northeast. Taking that over. And Brawler's in, but so are Tridents. So the Dante needs repair, but it's not gonna die. Assuming it gets repaired. Drone having workers right here. Sorry, Klon having workers right here, that is possible. But necessary. Strictly, it's absolutely necessary. They have to reclaim, or they have to repair it. Not reclaim, I mean. They have to repair it. Drone can't really... Klon can't really afford to build another... Really can't. Like, there's just no room for error in that regard. That, if that dies, that's basically Klon's military investment. Ugh, I'm getting confused. I guess because they rhyme. But yeah, that's Klon's military investment. Drone not going for... Oh, Drone is going for a Dante. Drone also with their own Dante, which emphasizes my point even more. They cannot afford to lose that. Although, that Brawler... Oh, if they lose that Brawler... How many Brawlers are there? There... No more. It looks like... Has Drone given up on air? Yeah, Drone's given up on air. Drone's given up on Brawlers. They have one left, but they're not building anymore. These Tridents have basically forced Drone out of air. Why is this not being repaired? I guess its out of combat healing is working, but not that quickly. Zeus assault over the northeast. Might be enough? No, Klon doesn't think it's enough, but they already lost a Zeus to that. Actually, probably would have been enough. The Stardust is the only problem that's coming in afterwards. But at least the center's open. So, Klon with the repaired Dante. Good to have. Or repairing Dante, rather. But Drone has their Dante out. No repair forces behind it, but they have constructors around the map, so this shouldn't be too hard to do. And Klon is, I think Klon's defensive nature is actually going to be working against them now. They really need to decisively just attack and tear apart the center and really break the hold that Drone has, but they keep falling back and losing territory in the process. I mean, at this point, the Southwest is going to go down. The Dante's got the Southwest. That is, Drone's Dante has the Southwest. And Klon... Why is there Dante over here? What are they doing? It looks almost like they're just basically falling back, deciding, okay, screw it. I cannot win the... I'm not going to try for the center, even though they probably could win it. Especially with a Dante out of position like this. Like, Drone's Dante is in the Southwest. The center's pretty open. So I think what Klon's trying to do... Might just be trying to repair the Dante in safety, but I think what they're possibly trying to do is put themselves into a really small position so that Drone goes to attack them, overextends, loses everything, and then Klon counterattacks and wins. I think that's what Klon's idea is. That fits their playstyle. But I'm not entirely sure. Pretty good raids going on, though. Good glaives coming here, tearing apart what they can. I mean, if they are going to go for this strategy, which looks like they might be aborting at this point, they might be realizing, oh, actually, no, I have the center. I could take it. I could totally take this. So if they go for that, okay, sure. They got that. But if they don't... I mean, they got harassment. If they go for that, they still need to make sure that they aren't letting Drone get away with the territory. They got to make sure that they're not giving Drone everything. Because otherwise a counterattack would be of no use. And siege over to the northwest, or assault over to the northwest side of the map, which is kind of overkill, actually. The Dante is over in the center now. Klon's out of position, radically out of position, and just now realizes it. Did not have radar coverage to where the Dante was walking around. Just now realizes how out of position they are, but they should be okay for now. Drone not attacking too hard either, and this actually isn't a bad assault route. They go over here, smash this area up, get rid of all these constructors. That gets rid of a lot of reclaim, which is half a Drone's economy right now. They get rid of these constructors, and then get rid of everything that's been built up so far. Well, then that's an open path into the main base from the less defended side. Like, Drone does not really expect a lot coming in from here. Actually, they don't really have much to defend either side, come to think of it. And another shot for this here Dante. Getting rid of the Wolverines very handily. And the gunships as well. Almost don't even need tridents. Drone's still going for those rapiers, though. Still got loads of rapiers. And Drone's own Dante coming in for the final showdown between the two Dantes. But Klon has so much more support. Even with Drone, like, Drone has repair support, sure, but Klon has a bunch of Zeuses on top of everything else. And that repair support is starting to get burnt out, too. Yeah, the Zeuses are basically the force that's going to deal with the Dante. The other Dante doesn't care. And, oh. Klon's E-stall? Klon's not E-stalling. Klon's got a glut of energy. They're fine. I don't know what you're talking about, Skazzy. Doesn't matter, though, because they're not repairing the Dante at all, and they totally could. I don't know why they aren't. Probably because their constructors were either killed or just too far back. So the one threat right now is that the Dante is... Give me an issue. Like, Klon's retaking the Southwest. Their economy is about as strong as it was before. It's kind of getting them down to who loses the Dante first. And at this point, it does look like it's going to be Klon. If Klon can repair it and then put the Zeuses up front somewhat so that they tank a bit more of the damage and then tear apart everything, that will work okay. And that is a bit of a point. Why are there no ultimatums? Can't remember the name of the unit. Why are there no ultimatums? That would wipe out the Dante, no problem. It's 2,000 metal, but it would wipe out the Dante, no problem. And the constructor balls, and this defensive area. Yeah, the Dante, that's pretty much the linchpin. Both sides pretty much have that as their linchpin. And it looks like neither side really wants to make another one, but Drone might. They have a massive economic boost right now thanks to the reclaim. And Klon, do they know what's going on? Yeah, they know what's going on. They know where that is. They know where the Dante is. I think they're waiting for theirs to be repaired to use as the point force. And this is where the lack of crash is just too slow. Cannot get up here in time to save the rapiers. And the Zeus in actually a really great position. They can get rid of the crashes without too much issue. Some issue, but not too much issue. And then rush down to get the drone. But are they... Or the drone, the Dante. But I don't think they're going to do so. Yeah, it's okay, that's a job for Glaives, and the Glaives are dealing with it. That's where these should move down. These got to move down here. Why are they not moving down to help out here? There we go. And Klon really needs to move out because they need that support. This Dante's going to lose in about 10 seconds. Why are these Zeuses not going forward? They should have been here already. This Dante's dead. Like, I think Klon's just lost the game. Or actually, it might even out. If both Dantes die, then we're kind of in an even position. 3 seconds left. Okay, there we go. The D-gun's coming out for Klon. D-gun just got shot out for Drone, and Drone loses theirs first. And the Zeus fronting that assault force that Dante allowed to repair. Klon, that was close. That was super close. And it's not over yet. There's still these rapiers. I mean, the tridents will help get rid of them, but the rapiers are still there. But that Zeus support was so critical. And Drone has quit. Drone's left. Wow. Okay, so Drone has left the tournament. Can't say I don't sympathize. I mean, that was a harrowing game. But, yeah, Klon wins 1-0. Winners finals. Huh. Okay. I mean, I'll grant, that was a harrowing game. Entertaining to watch, but yeah, for the players to be harrowing. I've been in that situation before. That was 35 minutes of trying to deal with defenses, and then having something to deal with them potentially. Although, admittedly, Drone did have a massive economic advantage. They could have turned into an ultimatum, or turned into another Dante for insurance. This is kind of rude. Oh, Skazi's pointing out possibility of these displaying income over time if you hovered over them. That would be awesome. Well, I don't necessarily hover over, but yeah. Hover over would be just... If they had a history graph on all the economy, like the metal and energy, that would be such a god. That would be so cool. Actually, it'd be also cool if that happened on the end game screen too, to see what the income was. Because it doesn't show the current income. That would be... Or the income at various points in the game. Those would be awesome. Don't really have time to try to do it myself, but those would be awesome features. Really cool if they existed. So yeah, Klon moves on to Grand Finals, and the tournament continues. Moves on to Grand Finals. Google Frog joins them. They beat Anarkid 1-0 after Anarkid beat Lori. So Anarkid, congratulations on 3rd place, I guess, or 4th place. Not really sure. I guess Drone would have been 3rd place, because they would have lost twice. Because they lost, and then they forfeited completely, so they lost against Google Frog. So Google Frog and Klon are fighting in the finals. Grand Finals, Google Frog, Klon. We get to see them again. Okay, apparently it was a Blastwing Rush that gave Google Frog the game against Anarkid. Or just Blastwing everything. Blastwing was a bit of ducks. Okay, so what's going to happen is that Drone is going to get 5 minutes to cool off, potentially. If they come back in the next 5-10 minutes, they're back in. They are not considered forfeit. I'm not even sure if they're going to forfeit this. I think it might actually be that this game as well is not considered forfeit. So I think we might still technically be in this game. So we're basically waiting 5 minutes. And then once that's done, and at this point, I think Drone's in a position where they are at a disadvantage. Like I said, whoever lost to Dante first is kind of screwed. Like, it's maybe something that can be attacked here, but basically what'll end up happening is that Drone will get heavily assaulted in their main base. They don't have much in the way of defenses. Outside of that big defender nest, they didn't have much. If they build an ultimatum rapidly, like spend all their metal on an ultimatum, it's the only option that comes to mind. And even that, ultimatums are 2,000 metal. And consider they have 26 metal per second, that ends up working out to about 20 seconds? No. Yeah, 20 seconds. Now that's actually enough time. If they got back into the game, if they cooled up, got back into the game, dropped an ultimatum, and then used that effectively, they could get back into this. But at this point, the game's gotten even again. However, I kind of doubt that. Like, another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I think it's going to be the Google Frog versus Klon Grand Finals. So yeah, if any of you are watching on YouTube, I mean, I'm not going to cut this so much because I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm probably... If you're watching on YouTube and it doesn't continue for more than 2 minutes from here, go to the next video because nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Just go to the next video. It'll be Grand Finals of Google Frog and Clone, and that will probably be okay. At this point, I do kind of expect it will be the finals of Clone and Google Frog. I am kind of sad that there was a rage quit. I don't really like that. I'm not a fan of rage quits. I mean, I can understand. I have been in that situation myself. I totally understand. Like with 0K, I've been in a situation where I've basically gone, screw this, I quit. But that was in 1v1s on my own. Oh, a Scorpion coming up as well. Ooh, okay, actually, yeah, Clone had this. Never mind. This, it would have been onto game 2. So this game is over, but there probably aren't other games at this rate. But yeah, like, I totally understand rage quitting. I totally understand being really pissed off after a long drawn-out game that didn't go your way. I've been there. I'm sure everyone who's watched me for a while knows that I'm a pretty temperamental person. And I try to keep it in check, but occasionally I get a bit just too much. That's happened to me. I can totally understand. It's a bit rude in a tournament, though, but I can understand. It just kind of sucks that that was the position they were put in. Although, admittedly, everyone's kind of rusty. I mean, it's one of those games, I think one of the big reasons for the frustration, and, okay, the game has been called. Has it been called by the game itself? Yeah, okay. That's... So, game 1 definitely goes to Clone. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it came down to rust, the fact that it lasted as long as it did, and I think that's the big frustration for Drone. Because Drone is the #1 player by Elo on the ladder, but they're also rusty and haven't played in a while. And I know the feeling, you're good at something, and then you haven't done it in a while, and you get back to it, and you're rusty. It's like, you gotta take a little while to get back in, but it's so frustrating to do. It feels like you could just never get to where you were before. And that, on top of the fact that the game was long and drawn out, and partly because the game was long and drawn out because the players were rusty, that probably just pushed Drone over, because really, I can totally understand the frustration. At that point, it's just, you're thinking, I should be able to do this. I'm the best player. Why can't I do this? Why can't I finish this off? A month ago, I would have been able to finish this off in 15 minutes, and it's been 35, and the game is still in a relative stalemate. If not, I'm losing. So I can see that. I can totally see it.